Welcome to the Microsoft Tips Showcase, where we provide quick, single-topic videos on how to do something within a Microsoft 365 related tools such as SharePoint, Dynamics, Office, etc. These tips are brought to you by SV MacPack, a certified veteran-owned and HubZone consulting firm supporting primarily the U.S. federal government. In support of our customers' need to maximize the value of the tools they currently invest in, we started creating video tips. We hope these videos help you as well. This video is part of a series that began with episode 15, and these are designed to introduce you to Microsoft 365 as if it's the first time you're seeing any of it. We'll move quickly to keep the video short and just give you an overview. So let's go ahead and get started with calendars. Today we're going to talk about the calendars, and as always, when you go to Office 365, you can get to the calendar by either clicking on the icon here on the main page, or if we go up to the app launcher, which you can find at any point while you're navigating 365, you can click on Calendar. So let's go ahead and click on that. Calendar here is opening up not to a separate app necessarily, but it's part of Outlook. So here it pops up the events that are in here. And you can have multiple calendars. I'm not really trying to explain a whole bunch of detail, but this is useful for you to pay attention to. For example, if I did another calendar and I called it MS Tips, and this is a calendar of when I'm working on different tips that I want to be able to share with different people, I could use that as a separate calendar. I might be able to share that calendar right there, sharing permissions. I could share that out with a bunch of people so they could see that one calendar. Let me come back to my main calendar here. If you've been using any of the Microsoft products for a while, you see that you have the standard activity that you could do, for example, creating events. One little thing that I think is pretty cool is it's just letting you know the weather pattern that's happening in the next few days. I don't think this is really helpful to me, though, because it shows sunny, right? But it doesn't show that it's like 10 degrees, and that's never fun. Anyway, so some of the things to keep in mind, if I just want to highlight a couple of them. You can do different things here, and these are just designed to help you do events. But if you did a calendar event, for example, typical form pops up that allows you to fill it in. The minute you start inviting people, like let's invite Neil. Let me invite myself to my own meeting. So it quickly identifies that we're free, so it's checking both of our calendars to see if we're free. I think I had something earlier today, so let me see if I can back that up. Where was it? So 11 a.m. But we'll choose this out, different day, pulls it out. And then let's just call this one Test Event 2. So some other things that are pretty neat that if you haven't done these before, begin to try it. Your organization probably has Skype if it's doing Office 365 or Microsoft 365. So here I can sit there and say I want to add a Skype meeting, and it's telling me it's going to add it into the body in a little bit, and I'll show that to you after we create the event. Categorization is great. I use it personally to categorize things. You can, in this case, it's purple. Let me go back to orange on this. And because I'm creating a meeting invite, you don't have save, you have send, which is basically the equivalent. So let's go ahead and hit send. And it created my event out there. And you see they're purple and orange. I just find that's handy if I want to sit there and categorize certain things. Something as straightforward as meetings compared to daily staff updates or something. There's a lot of activities. I would clearly put in, I actually put in personal appointments on my calendar as well, just so I can block the time out at work. And you can set them to private so no one's really seeing the details, but I'm able to color code them so I know you will not miss this one, like my kid's doctor's appointment or something. Anyways, so I created this as a Skype meeting though, so let's go ahead and open it. And if we double click on it, you see that it's got the ability to join Skype right there for whoever got invited to the meeting. And here's the basic details of it. I'm not trying to go too much farther into that. Let me come back. You have the typical activities that you can see if you haven't done this before and exploring the calendar. The ability to travel through the months, the ability to display. Right now we're displaying month. I actually prefer to display a work week. So when I come in, I can see what's going on. I do need to add a couple of more days to the work week since that's kind of how it works for me. But you can choose how you want to do it. A lot of people do their daily calendar. They come in, I just want to see what's going on. It's up to you to decide. Make it yours so that you can see what you want to see. You notice the two calendars up here are kind of overlaid. So if I had multiple events, if I cancel it here, I'm just not displaying it, but I do still have the calendar. That is a quick introduction. Let me go ahead and close this guy and go back to the main homepage for Office 365, because that concludes the lesson of an introduction to the calendar. I hope you found this tip useful as you continue to use Microsoft 365 related products in support of your day-to-day job. Please provide me with feedback in the comments. Let me know how I can make these tips more relevant and useful to you, including suggest tips you think we should create. Finally, if you found this review helpful, please share it with others on one of the social media platforms or just give it a thumbs up. I'm your host, Neil McDonald with SV MacPack. I thank you for joining me today and hope you'll join me again for other tips.